Am I the jerk for warning my sister I would leave her off the wedding guest list if she doesn't stop pushing me to ask my mom's husband to walk me down the aisle? My sister 22 female and I 29 female share the same biological parents. I was 9 and she was 2 when our dad died, and I was 11 and she was 4 when our mom remarried. For lots of reasons, we don't have the same relationship with mom's second husband. To my sister, he's dad, he's the best guy in the world, and she will scream from the rooftops to defend him. A few years ago, she went no contact with our dad's parents and siblings because she took offense to them calling us his little girls in a card they left on his grave. She told them she was our stepfather's little girl. She actually said we both were, and that dad didn't raise us like he did. This was the first time we ever had a real fight between us, though we had bickered and disagreed on this topic before, because I told her he was not and would never be my dad. She accused our grandparents, aunts, and uncles of disrespecting our stepfather, and of turning me against my family, and she told them she hoped they'd join dad like they wanted to so bad, since they wouldn't come to terms with who our real dad is now. The fight between us continued beyond my sister cutting dad's family out of her life. She told me she had no idea I would be so set in my ways still, and that she thought I'd have seen things clearer being older. I told her it's because I'm older that I don't see it the same. I told her nobody replaced my dad. She told me it wasn't normal to have someone else raise you and to feel like they weren't your real parent. I reminded her I was 11 when he married mom, so he didn't even raise me as long as dad did. Then she said I had known him longer though, and parenting doesn't end at 18. I pointed out I no longer lived with them at 18, and I never went him for parenting or for support. She argued he loved me as much as her, and he didn't deserve to be the guy mom married. This fight lasted close to 5 weeks, and I had to take some time from her before it turned into something physical. She got so worked up I expected it to become that. We did make up, kinda, but we're still very much not on the same page about mom's husband. We also had a smaller fight over this topic around Father's Day because it was the 20th one without dad, and she didn't like my post to dad and felt it invalidated mom's husband. And maybe it did in her eyes because he became our dad when he married mom to her. But the reality is he only became her dad, and never mine. I'm not even close to him or to mom anymore, because they could never wrap their heads around me not accepting him as my dad or my parent. Now the fight has turned to my wedding, and the fact mom's second husband will not be father of the bride, will not walk me down the aisle, get a dance, or have a standout place at the wedding. He's mom's +1, and that's it for me. He'll be acknowledged in a toast with her, but that's it. My sister doesn't like it, and has made it her mission to force my hand into asking him. She even went behind my back and told him I was going to ask, and had finally come around and started a whole show between me and mom over it. Mom's husband was too busy sulking over not being asked to fight it out with me. And that's a whole other thing. I won't get into it here. I confronted my sister over what she did. She said she was trying to get me to do the right thing. We argued, and it turned into another fight. This is when I told her I would leave her off the guest list if she doesn't stop pushing. My sister told me I have always hated her for loving mom's husband, for not wanting dad to be her dad but to have him as her dad because he's alive. She told me she never understood picking some dead guy over someone still alive who wanted to be our dad. She said I ruined our family. I told her I couldn't take my love away from dad and give it to somebody else, and I couldn't love somebody who tried to make me love them and tried to take a spot claimed by another. My sister got incredibly frustrated and started cussing me out, but then she told me I was being a jerk and threatening to keep her away from my wedding was to punish her when she didn't deserve it, and that I was asking for too much. I told her I was serious and I walked away from the fight, and I have refused to engage since. She has tried, and she has told me I can't keep her away from my wedding. I'm not being fair, and she loves me and doesn't want to miss her only sister getting married. But I'm seriously thinking I might need to keep her away. When I talked about what mom's husband would not be at my wedding, I should have said that was the plan before things kicked off. Now neither mom or her husband are invited because of the argument that happened after my sister lied. So am I the jerk for not wanting my mom's husband to walk me down to the aisle? Would I be the jerk if I don't wear a fake engagement ring on a family vacation? I, 24 female, have been wanting to move to Australia. I love reptiles, and since watching 72 Most Dangerous Animals Australia when I was 12, I have wanted to go. I want to be a herpetologist, but before I move and commit my life to being far away from home, my family agreed to go on a month-long vacation to truly experience the life with me. This is wonderful, but the issue arises because my boyfriend 25 male Dan asked me to wear a fake engagement ring while on said vacation with my family. For context, Dan fully supports me moving to Australia and has said he will come with me if I choose to do so. My issue is, Dan has not proposed. We have talked about being married and having children, but he said it would be in the future, just not right now, as we both are not financially stable enough for it. He wants me to wear the ring because the area we are going on vacation is where I want to live, and he doesn't want the locals to think they have a chance. I told him they won't think that, but he is insisting on the ring. Tonight we were watching the MLB wildcard series. Go Red Sox. And I brought up how excited I am for my trip, and Dan said, "Wait, I have something for your trip," and runs to our room and brings out a huge ring, bigger than what I want in the future. I told him I do not want to wear the ring because we are not engaged, and we got into an argument. This turned into him sleeping on the couch and his mother texting me telling me it's not a big deal if it makes him more comfortable. I love Dan more than anything, and I do want to marry him, but I feel like putting on a ring before actually having a ring is gross. Side note, I haven't told my family or friends about this because they love Dan, to the point my father calls him son and my mom texts him a good amount of times. I don't want to ruin their relationship, but I'm not sure how to navigate this. I also don't want to rush him into an engagement over this. He deserves to take his time, but this whole situation seems weird. I feel like I'm in the wrong because his family doesn't see it as a big deal and are telling me it's not a big deal, while I am making it that. I really don't want to fight over this. So do I just suck it up and put on the fake ring and try to explain it to my family? Or would I be the jerk if I just refused to wear the fake ring? Am I the jerk for not honoring my wife's dying wish? 6 years ago, my wife passed away after a short illness. The day before she passed away, it seemed as though she may pull through. She said to me, "If I die, you're not allowed to date." I laughed and promised I wouldn't. Both of my daughters were there when she said it. That night, things went horribly downhill and she was gone by noon the next day. I've spent the last 6 years raising my girls and finally sent my youngest off to college in August. I have been involved in a few support groups for people who have lost spouses for the last few years, and earlier this year I really connected with a woman who lost her husband around the same time. I wasn't looking for a relationship, but we have been on a few dates and I've been trying to keep it concealed at least in the meantime. We ended up going to a restaurant and our server was one of my older daughter's friends from high school. She must have called or texted my daughter because last night my daughter called to scream at me and basically told me I was cheating on her mother and I had no right to dishonor her request of me. I am pretty furious she called me like that, and I had to hang up and told her I'd call her in the morning when I've had some time to reflect. Now all I can think of is how horrible I am for this. I'm 45 years old and I need companionship, but I don't want my daughters to think I'm spitting on their mother's grave. My wife's sister also texted me to tell me that my wife's request was unreasonable and unfair, and that her family is not going to judge me if I move on and she would talk to my daughter about it. I don't want to ruin my relationship with my kids over this, but I am so damn torn. Am I the jerk for not honoring her request? Edit. I want to clear up that when she said it, I did take it as a joke, and I think she was joking as well. The issue is that my kids were present and took it seriously. They were 14 and 12 at the time. She had been hospitalized with severe pneumonia and had been on oxygen for 2 days. All signs were pointing to a full recovery, and it was during this time she made the statement. None of us expected her to go downhill so quickly overnight. Update: I called my daughter this morning and asked her if I can come to her campus for breakfast with her. She goes to school an hour away, so it isn't a bad drive. Apparently, my sister-in-law did talk to her last night and told her she was being irrational and unfair and that I deserve to be happy. My younger daughter, who goes to school several hours away, also told my older daughter it isn't a big deal, and I'm allowed to live my life. We had breakfast and walked around her campus for a few hours. We talked about her mom and how much we all loved her and miss her. We had some laughs and cries. I told her I would never try to replace her mother, and anyone I date would have to get along with my girls. She is still upset, which I acknowledged, but she agrees it's unreasonable to expect me to go the rest of my life alone. She apologized for her reaction and genuinely felt bad that she acted that way. I suggested we go to therapy together to work some of this out, but she's really busy at school, so wouldn't be able to until winter break. I feel like I left with her understanding and really hope she won't hold this against me. I was not even looking for a relationship, especially at a support group. We met in March, went on our first date in July, and have only been on 3 more dates since. We have not even been intimate, so I'm not exactly sure where it's going. Am I the jerk for telling my daughter she had to break up with her boyfriend or move out after finding out his real age? I, 42 female, have a husband, 39 male, and a daughter who just turned 19. She's always been strong-willed and independent, but stubborn as all hell. When she was little, she wanted to do everything herself, argued about bedtime, could throw huge fits over nothing. As a teen, it got worse. She was sneaking out, lying about where she was, refusing curfew, ignoring rules. My husband usually ended up stuck in the middle trying to calm both of us down. Sometimes we went hours without talking. Even with all that, she has a softer side, and we've always tried to work with her. She had a manipulative boyfriend when she was younger. She was 16, he was 19. Legally, we couldn't stop them, so there wasn't much we could do, but we forbade him from coming in the house. He was controlling, jealous, isolating her from friends, pressuring her into things she wasn't comfortable with. I know from catching them in the act and from what my daughter told me that he had snuck her out a couple of times, and she defended him constantly, lied to cover for him. We argued with her, tried to get her to see how manipulative he was, but she was so infatuated she didn't listen. It ended badly, she was heartbroken, and it took a long time for us to trust each other again, and for us to feel like she could make safe and smart choices on her own. Almost 2 years ago, she introduced us to her current boyfriend, and she had just turned 18, she was finishing high school. She told us he was 21 when we first met him, and she repeated it multiple times both to me and my husband. Honestly, it made sense. He looks young, slim, baby-faced, dresses casually, hangs out with her friends, and just acted like someone in their early 20s. He has a very calm, steady presence. He wasn't manipulative or controlling like her last boyfriend. Over time, me and my husband got close to him. My husband bonded with him over football, working on cars, grabbing a beer in the garage. I liked him too. He was polite, respectful, helped with dishes and other things around the house without being asked, and was affectionate toward our daughter without being overbearing. He'd spend hours just hanging out with her, watching movies, doing homework together if they were in the house. They were clearly very attached, but in ways we could see were healthy. She laughed more, seemed relaxed, and we could tell he genuinely cared about her well-being. It was last week when we decided to go out for dinner and invited our daughter boyfriend along that I found out what I did. The waitress had to card us for drinks. His ID ended up on the table for a moment, and I happened to glance at it and saw that his birth year was 1995. I didn't say anything then as to not cause a scene and did the math multiple times to make sure that I was correct. He's 29, turning 30 in a few months, so that meant he was 28. When he started dating my daughter, she was still in high school. The next morning, I confronted her. She admitted she lied from the beginning because she knew we would freak out. She said it doesn't matter she was 18 when they met. She's an adult, and I have no right to control her life. I told her it wasn't okay for a 28-year-old man to date my teenage daughter and that hiding it for 2 years is unacceptable. She yelled back that I've never respected her, that I treat her like a child, and that I'm ruining her happiness. In the heat of it, I told her she either ends the relationship or moves out. My husband backed me in the moment once he found what was happening, but later told me he thinks I went too far. He worried the ultimatum could push her closer to him and undo the trust we've built. She's barely speaking to either of us now and told my husband that if we force her out, she'll just move in with him permanently and never look back. I can't stop thinking about her past relationship and that she was actively lying to us for 2 years. But I also feel like I might have gone about this wrong and hurt our relationship with her forever. Am I the jerk for giving her that ultimatum? Or is it reasonable to feel like I can't let this go under our roof? Like and subscribe for daily Reddit stories. All rights belong to the original author. This video is for narration entertainment purposes only.